So what I have here is a 25-pound bag of clay. Watch me slice it up. Most of the time we use wire to cut the clay. Or I can use this cool tool that works kind of like a cheese slicer. And I can adjust the thickness of my slice. You might notice that the clay is cold and damp. One way to explore with clay is to create texture, and I'm using these tools to press into the clay to create the texture. How about a Lego? I can create texture by taking away some of the clay. I have 10 very useful tools that I can use to smooth out the clay and create a smooth texture. I can use a straw to create texture, or a glue cap. I can create lines with a bamboo skewer. I can pinch the clay to create texture, make little bumps. Here's one of my favorite ways to make texture. You smooth out a section first. I use a net and I just rub gently on the net. And I peel it up. It makes a texture that looks like fish scales or snake skin. If I don't have any fancy ceramic tools around, I can use a paper clip to scoop out the clay and create a texture. Now another thing I could do is use a bamboo skewer to write my name. I recommend that you write lightly. I don't want to carve into my clay, I just want to lightly write. And even when I write lightly, you can see that the clay will sometimes come up around the edges. Now another thing we can do with a glue stick cap is to take it and roll. I wonder what that will do. Wow, that's a cool texture. It's a little bit bumpy and smooth at the same time. Sometimes people will want to take their fist and pound the clay to flatten it. If you don't have a rolling pin, a better way is to just press. It's quieter and you have a lot more control over what you're doing. The other thing we can do with clay is to roll it into a ball, or the other thing I can do is to create something called coils. And a coil is kind of like a snake. So I take my clay and just roll it with my hands. And one trick that potters use is to spread their fingers out and to pull their hands sideways while they're rolling, and it helps your coil be an even thickness.